Hey crafters, happy holidays! Our crafting moment has come. Now we can shamelessly craft at all hours, all season, yes! Without looking like complete crazy people. I want to start with a series that I started last Christmas time where I was making some easy to create gifts that had a retro flair to them. Some of these projects were based on actual craft projects from back in the day. Others were more vintage inspired, using craft supplies that you could get today and trying to get kind of a vintage look to your gifts. I will link to that video below because that one was a fun one, might give you some fun ideas. And I wanted to continue with that series, doing another fun project that is also pretty simple. It is really easy to do and gives you some really cute results. Today we're going to be making these cute pedestal plates. How cute is that, right? Put some like Christmas cookies or candies on it. Could also do like candles or like pile up some vintage Christmas ornaments and use it for decoration. I have had this one for years, and actually my mom made this one for me. Check out that part. That's a candle holder, you know, for like long taper candles. And then the top is just a really pretty dessert plate glued together. So yeah, today's project is brought to you by my mom who made these years ago, and it's a super fun way to upcycle some items from the thrift store. Join me for the adventure. I'm going to show you a little my thrifting searching. I searched around for some plates and some candle holders, and then of course I have my handy craft glue ready. And we're going to put these together and see if we can create some different looks and some personalized gifts. My tips for thrifting are, you know, give yourself a few different shops to visit, experiment with different plate sizes, have fun. I try to not use plates that are part of other sets or, you know, particularly valuable. I'm looking for those unique pieces that are kind of by themselves, kind of lonely, need a little love, and I think this is a good way to do it. It's also pretty inexpensive, doesn't take a lot of time, and could be pretty cute for a retro themed gift. So come along to the thrift store with me. I'll show you what I found, and then we'll get started. Okay, you guys, here's what I came away with from the thrift store. I've got two of these plates. These are more of kind of like dessert plate size. And then I do have one of these. This is a little bigger than a saucer. Maybe it's like a bread and butter plate. Not quite sure. I also found a few of our candle holders, and I kind of played around with different heights and different plate sizes. And I found that the dessert plates seem to work best just proportionally if you're doing kind of like a cake plate, you know, different heights. It's kind of handy if you find a candle holder to just walk around the thrift store and try it with different plates on top and just see what it looks like. I found that the smaller ones, you know, are not quite as proportionate, but I thought this could be kind of cute for maybe like holding a candle, like a pillar candle or a little round candle. So I'm gonna experiment with this guy to see what the best use for this one is. But yeah, definitely play around at the thrift store and try out some different sizes and colors. These plates are all really pretty, but I think they could go with like a lot of different patterns and a lot of different looks, so they could be nice for gift giving. Okay, so we've got our thrifted items. Now we need to talk supplies. I'm going to be using some of my favorite E6000 glue. This stuff works on a lot of different surfaces. I know Martha Stewart actually did a project like this several years ago, and I'm afraid I don't know which magazine issue she did this in, but she was using some craft glue, but then she also tried using hot glue, and she said that if you hot glue the items together, you can then put them in the freezer later and remove the glue. Now, I haven't verified that, I haven't tried it, but if you're interested in maybe making a piece that isn't totally permanent, maybe get her on her website and see if you can find that article. I'm so sorry that I don't know which one it is, but it's kind of an interesting idea to be able to make a display and take it apart if you want. So I've got my glue. Of course, I've got covering on my surface here because this stuff doesn't wash off. And paper towel handy as always. I'm going to be using a little plate to help protect things from all this glue. Of course, I got my paper towel. I might even use a little bit of a pencil mark to help me line up these pieces. And of course, once these items are glued, I'll need to leave them for at least an hour or maybe a couple hours to let them completely dry. So let's get started. Okay, I think I'm gonna start with our rose dessert plate and our tallest candle holder. Okay, now before I start gluing, I think I'm gonna kind of experiment a little bit. I want to figure out how to center this on the back. Sometimes the labeling is right in the center. This one is not. A little off center. So I think what I'm gonna do is, I've actually tried putting this upside down on the back of the cake plate and just playing around with it to try to get it to look pretty centered as much as I can. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, always nice to get it close. And then I'm just kind of trying to make some marks with my pencil. It doesn't really show up that much, but it'll just give me a little bit of a smudgy guideline to play around with. Yeah, I mean, it's not showing up very much, but you know, it's just a start. It'll get me going in the right direction with that. Okay, time to glue. Now, my glue is kind of dry, so it's coming out slowly this morning, but hopefully it'll be okay. Oh, there it is. It's coming out already. Okay. Now, I did try to get candlesticks that had a relatively flat top edge to try to help us out here. I definitely need this to stay, but I also don't want a giant puddle of glue around the base too much, so we're going to kind of leave that to the side. Okay. A moment of truth. Let's line it up as best as we can. Alright, might move it around a little bit. Okay. Let's see how we look here. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Okay, I don't want to move this around too much. I'm going to push this one to the back and let it dry for, gosh, at least an hour. If you're going to be, you know, serving from this and moving it around, I'd give it several hours at least to let it really dry before you try moving it around. Huh. All right, so now we've got our next ones. I think I'm going to be using this one for this. They don't completely match. I love this kind of milk glass look. And then I love this plate. Oh my gosh. It's so retro and cutesy. I think it's perfect. So I'm going to do that. for that. And then I definitely want to try kind of a candle holder one with this one. So let's line up those candlesticks, use my pencil here, and switch to time lapse for a little gluing. Okay, well, we got these guys ready to dry. I gotta say, it's always good to go back and double check how these are drying. After I had finished this guy, he kind of slid a little bit. Like, I don't know if my table is slightly slanted or the plate is slightly slanted, but it definitely slid, so I had to kind of push him back into shape and clean up any extra glue around the edges as best as I could. This guy is a wobbly plate. His edges are not flat. They curve a bit, so I had to prop him up a little bit. Hopefully he'll be okay. I'm gonna let these guys dry for a couple hours, hopefully, before I show you what they look like all done. And hey, while that happens, it's a great time for you to hit that like button if you thought this was a fun idea, and subscribe for more fun stuff from Partners in Craft. We've got lots of fun holiday stuff going on, upcycling, thrifting, you name it, it's all happening. So come along with us for the adventure and join us for the fun. I'm going to walk away from these before I mess with them anymore, get out a few holiday decorations, and I'll show you what they look like when we're done.